Hey, what's up everyone? This is Chris here in Shenzhen, China, doing the summer throwdown. I did these vids last time we did a throwdown, so I guess I can do them again because why not? It's Sunday morning, the day after the throwdown, and I'm super sore, particularly in the lower back, so take care of yourselves, guys. Here I am about to start. And this is what I remember from the beginning. I didn't actually warm up at all in the rower, and someone else with small feet had been using the rower previously, so I wasted like 5 seconds on not practicing at all. So tip number one, warm up all the movements. Don't neglect anything, even if it's something monostructural. So there's that. I have a tendency to start out on a machine really hot, even if I'm feeling great. Usually it's like the excitement of the moment. So I start out at like 1400 calories in the first 10-15 seconds, and then I settle back down into something more sustainable, which for me now is like 1050 to 1100. It's something at 50 calories. I want to keep it nice and low so that I have enough energy to sustain for the rest of the conditioning piece. Again, it's 50 calories on the rower and then 50 dumbbell snatches at 22.5 kg, 40 calories on the rower, and then 40 clean and jerks. Walking into it, I was thinking, where should I break up the movements, a dumbbell? If I was going to feel really good, I'd go unbroken on the snatches, but I know that usually something like that would cost me down the road in a conditioning piece. So I was paying attention mostly to like how I was feeling, if I was getting somewhere close to a red line, and I would figure it out from there. But yeah, at 50, 50, 40, 40, it seemed short enough that it would be okay to go kind of hard. But let's see how things go. Still rowing. Right now the time is at about 1:38, and I was feeling pretty good here. As you can see, my rowing technique has, I guess, improved over time. I had a tendency to cut the pull short and not extend my legs enough, but now I make a point to really push through the legs at the beginning of the stroke. But you will notice that my heels do come up at the end of the recovery there. I used to play around with keeping my heels flat on that pedestal there, but doing that prevents me from getting in a nice kind of crunched in position at the beginning of the stroke. So I feel like if I keep my heels flat, then my stroke is a lot shorter and end up not being able to get the most out of a pull. So heels up a bit, but I slam them back down as soon as I initiate the legs. What else? I have been doing the process programming for about a year now, and one of the biggest challenges for me was knowing how to manage my fatigue and know when to ease up and when to go hard, because usually I start out really, really hot and then kind of die off at the end there. So my goal on the row was to see if I can get a negative split. So I got something like a 250 here in that first split. Both heads of the dumbbells on the ground every rep. And keep it clean, guys. Also trying to keep my heels down as much as I can, just so I can conserve energy. 50 snatches is a lot, obviously. So I was just trying to stay as efficient as possible and not waste any energy with any unnecessary movement. Transferring my dumbbell just above my head for a nice transition into the other arm. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but I am using that Airwave mouthpiece. Doing that allows me to really clench my teeth in the middle of a rep while being able to take big gulps of air in and out really efficiently. I don't know, my personal jury of one is still out as to whether or not the Airwave is a good piece of equipment for CrossFit training, but right now I really do enjoy it. And if anything, it's just another little tool in the toolbox. Is it worth the money? Give me a couple weeks and I'll let you know. What else? Oh yeah, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna go unbroken on this, but I think around the 30 mark, I started feeling myself getting pretty close to that red line. So then I went ahead and kind of made a decision to drop at 40 here, take a little bit of a break, but not walk around, you know, keep my feet planted in the break. That way I'm still focused on the task at hand, and finish up with 10 smooth, slow reps with a deliberate breath at the top of every rep. So you see the cadence of the dumbbell snatches going slower here. That way I can get back on the rower without kind of dilly-dallying with the shitty pace to start. Okay, finish with those snatches at 5'11", and getting back on the rower. Like I said, I wanted to go a little bit slower on that last 10, that way I can get on the row with a pretty decent pace. I think I started like at 9 something, and then I climbed back up to 1,000 plus, but nothing over probably 1,200 in this piece. Let's see how my time does. 5'11" was the start, I guess. Back to the airwave. One thing that I would say is pretty awesome about using it on something like the rower is, for me, I really like the sensation of like clenching down with my teeth as I pull, as you would do in a deadlift or in a clean, but being able to still breathe really efficiently. Like it's placed so that your jaw is a little bit hard like here, like you get kind of an underbite. And then there's a bar where your tongue rests underneath. So then your tongue kind of pushes up against this bar here. So if you do that and you keep your tongue in that space under your lower teeth line, whatever you call it, I don't know, I'm not a dentist. It makes for a really open space to breathe. So I get big gulps of air in and out through my mouth while being able to keep this kind of tension as I pull. So it's kind of a awesome sensation, and I don't know if it's just me in my head, but I do feel more of a powerful pull, and that kind of translates into, at least on the monitor, a higher output when I'm looking at it from the calorie output perspective. Lily in the back there is about to start class. We do have a 10 a.m. boot camp class that I'm trying to finish before. I started the workout at 9:20. I was coaching a few classes beforehand. So whenever I do these Saturday testers, I'm under the gun a bit. So my warm-ups can be a little bit short, which is probably why I didn't do the row warm-up. Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on that. Oh, music. My buddy who started doing classes with me, and now I'm coaching, he's really into like indie dance music and like kind of old like London hip dance floor music. So here's LCD Sound System. 7:43. It's like 2:30, so faster here, which is awesome. Usually I suck at the second interval of any rowing. And here we go with the clean and jerks. I don't know if you guys have done this yet before, but be prepared to kind of be discombobulated mentally because of all those snatches. You kind of forget what a clean and jerk should look like. But I'm trying to stay proper here. One head of the dumbbell making contact with the ground every rep, coming to a stop at the shoulder, and then using that catch in the dip position as a place to do the drive. Going overhead and transferring overhead, just like a snatch, which I don't usually do, but in a piece like this where we're throwing down against, what is it, Ed, 200 people? I wanted to push the pace here. What is it, maybe around rep 20, 25, that's when I started getting to that self-doubt in the head of, this is not going to be unbroken. But I started kind of knocking it away in groups of 5 as little mental milestones for me. And once I really got dialed into being in the moment in those groups of 5 and keeping the technique as efficient as possible, I got into a pretty good groove. Yes, though, I was pretty spent here. Definitely in the pain cave, but this wasn't a broken set, and I'm super happy about that, because usually I kind of give up, drop the dumbbell, and waste about 20 seconds. So being able to get this done in one fell swoop was pretty awesome. And there's the payoff. Let's see what the recovery is like. So that was 9:28, and it sucked. It hurt big time, but I guess that's what these workouts are for. So thank you for that, team. Dude, get off the floor, buddy. I always try to like end a workout on my feet, or if I'm on my knees, at least look like a reasonable human being, because I don't want people to watch me looking like, why does Chris do these things? So it's nice to be in control. So I'm trying to gain my composure here, looking around, seeing if anyone's watching me, because the class is about to begin in about 30 minutes, I guess. Efficient setup here. I was right next to the platform, and the barbell and the crash pads and the plates that I intend to use for the 1 rep max thruster and my weightlifting shoes are right there. And then I stacked the crash pads to provide a seat for me to change my shoes. So, you know, smart setup there. Right now it's 10:47 and the thrusters would begin at the 15-minute mark. Oh, another thing about the airwave is that you're gonna drink a lot when you first start using it. Like I said, there's a bar that keeps your tongue underneath, like down at the bottom of your mouth, and it takes a while getting used to when you're drinking. All right, here we go. I wore my Fly Ease Metcons because those come off super quickly. And I've been doing a lot of weightlifting with my weightlifting shoes again, now that we're kind of technically in the off season. And that's what I wanted to do with these thrusters, wear weightlifting shoes. So I wanted to make sure I could transition out of my conditioning shoes and into my weightlifting shoes with ease. So thank you for the crash pads for that. I'm sure this is super entertaining to watch a guy tie his shoes, but you know, there's a reason for everything, and the reason here was to be able to lift as much weight as possible. And right now for me, that's with my weightlifting shoes. Yeah, so again, this is right before the boot camp class that my coaches were about to conduct at 10 o'clock, and they were debating on how to scale the hollow holds. So in the middle of my break here, I was trying to explain the different ways to scale it down and scale it up, and then I started getting like distracted, so then I told them I couldn't help them out anymore. But then now I can't help it, and I got to get back into it. Okay, I guess I'm kind of a dick when I'm trying to talk in the middle of a workout. Sorry, Allie. Sorry, Lily. You guys are great. Love you. All right. Let's see how much time we got left. Just under 2 minutes left. Yeah, I feel like I recovered pretty well from that first part. I mean, I went as hard as I could go at 9:28, again with unbroken clean and jerks. But I wanted to make sure I could still lift afterwards. So I'm glad I was able to recover here. I did have essentially 5.5 minutes before my first round of thrusters. So I relied on that, but I was happy to see that I was able to walk around and be more or less recovered enough by 4 minutes. All right. Yes. Add more plates when you feeling strong. In terms of like figuring this part out, when I'm trying to do a max lift in the middle of a conditioning workout, historically I would just kind of go by feel and not write anything down, but off camera, I actually wrote down on a large whiteboard the entire workout from the conditioning piece all the way to the attempts that I would make. In this case, 80 kg, 90, 100, 105, and 110. Just to keep me focused and just knowing that, you know, these are the targets that you need to be hitting, and these are the amount of attempts that you have, and therefore you have this much time. In this case, about 1 minute per attempt. Waiting for that 15-minute mark to start, me being a good boy and keeping that barbell empty until 15 minutes, and then loading them some bitches up like a good pit crew. So I'm good at loading the bar at least, so that's cool. This first attempt, like I said, was gonna be 80. During my warm-up, I was noticing that my power clean into a thruster, which I thought would be stronger, was actually quite weaker than my squat clean. I think it was just a matter of getting just straight into the movement and not taking that time in that loaded front rack position to kind of get into a thruster. So there's a lot of like self-talk that happens there. So here I decided to do squat clean into a thruster. And I guess I grunted that one out at 80 kg, which I don't know what that was for. Maybe just to psych myself up. My legs were feeling a little bit jello-y still with all the rowing, and even with the snatches and the clean jerk being primarily a hinge and push movement, I guess there was quite a bit of fatigue, especially in the first pull of the snatch and in the push jerk for the clean and jerk. These are just the excuses that I'm making up for why my legs are weak. 90 kilograms coming up here on the platform. Ah, man, I just love lifting on a platform. It's just such a nice sensation. So 80-90 went up pretty well. And like I said, my next attempt would be 100 kg. And walking into this, I would expect this to be a pretty okay lift. And we're at the 1642 mark. Here we go. There it is. Saying sorry because the owner of the gym, Chris, he doesn't like it when we drop bars and plates. The gym used to be like a restaurant or something, and they had like these really thin marbly tiles, and we found that dropping bars and plates cracks up the floor quite easily compared to something more solid like concrete. So sorry, Chris. Here's a power clean version. Yeah, took too much time there at the top. So that's 2 failed attempts with just over 2 minutes left in the workout. So now pressure is mounting. I should have gotten 100 kg. However, I've never done a 100 kg thruster before. I think my heaviest was in the low to mid 90s. But then again, I haven't deliberately tried maxing out my thruster before. So then the idea is, right now, what the hell am I doing? You know, I wrote down 105 and 110, which are always like pie in the sky attempts anyway. But just knowing that like I failed 100 twice already, with probably 1 attempt to go, yeah. Pressure, a bit of pressure. And maybe it was because I wasn't wearing my belt, so there's that. I was taking a little bit more time here, knowing that I probably would have 1 good attempt left in me before rushing to beat the clock on a shitty attempt. So here's our last one. I believe this was a squat clean again. That power clean is just so bad, and I starfished the catch, that I knew that doing that again would be most likely a fail. Plus, let's be honest, doing a squat clean thruster is always awesomer than a power clean into a thruster. Here's Matt, my hype man here. Oh, and my pre-attempt bark, which happens whenever I feel. Yeah, boy! So that's a PR. With 9:36 left, I think I just kind of called it there. There was no need, and I had no energy to try another attempt at anything higher than what I just did there. So that's it. 100 kg, which is PR thruster, and 928 in the row. Peace!